In South Africa, the ruling ANC party has been clobbered in local elections. Most of the final results are now in, and for the first time in post-Apartheid history, the ANC has lost control of the capital, Pretoria. CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg is following the story and joins me with more. Roee.
Well, Susan, this is the type of result that many people had been expecting, and I imagine that it can't really be much of a surprise for the ANC itself. Its leaders must have known that the internal divisions, the bickering, which has gotten lots of public attention, along with a whole host of scandals, that all of that would lead to growing frustration with the party among voters, a frustration that inevitably would get played out in the polls. Now, Pretoria, as you mentioned, the administrative capital, a loss for the ANC and a significant loss and a big win for the Democratic Alliance, or DA. That party, led by the opposition leader, Mmusi Maimane. He is young and black. He replaced Helen Zille, the premier of Western Cape and the former mayor of Cape Town, a white woman. And Maimane has really tried to convince people that the African National Congress is not the only voting option for black South Africans. That's clearly come across to some extent. The DA also gained control of Nelson Mandela Bay, which includes the city of Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape. 2 decades ago, this area was really the heart of anti-apartheid activism. And since then, the ANC, with Nelson Mandela himself at the top early on, seemed like its natural home. Indeed, it has been for years. That reality, of course, now changing. The mayor-elect there is Athol Trollip. He is white, and interestingly, he speaks Xhosa fluently. That has clearly appealed to some black voters. I should note, it appears the ANC has managed to slip ahead in Johannesburg by around 2 to 4 points. Those results not final yet, still coming in. And it's not enough for a clear majority. Whoever wins there will have to govern with another party. We're hearing that as of Saturday afternoon, ANC officials were already in talks with leaders from the EFF, or Economic Freedom Fighters, a small party which for the first time contested these elections. And by all accounts, Susan, they have done quite well.
So the ANC still got a significant portion of the popular vote, over 50%?
That's right, and it's definitely an important chunk, and President Jacob Zuma, the head of the ANC, will likely focus on that. But it's down 8% from the last election in 2011, so that's bad news for ANC leadership, and right now they'll have to figure out what sort of party they want to be. The mantra that we've heard, only we can run a post-apartheid South Africa, is clearly wearing off with some voters. Last year, I was in Johannesburg over dinner talking politics with a mixed group of people, black, white, all of them telling me that the ANC has let them down, that the ANC has failed to deliver on promises, that Zuma can't be trusted. Sure, he has his supporters, but his critics are many and they are vocal. The economy never really recovered after the 2008 global economic crisis. Many blame it on Zuma. South Africa's currency, the rand, has lost significant buying power. People tie that to Zuma. Even his speech on Saturday was interrupted by protesters. And when you hear that sort of sentiment in Johannesburg and now in Pretoria, and for a long time even louder in Cape Town, and you try to ignore it and say, okay, the ANC is still polling nationally above 50 points. You can do that, or you can choose to hear the people who are basically now saying to the ANC, it's time to shape up or ship out.